this cool warp thing, and we ended up in this giant field full of the Gnosis monsters, the evil penis monsters. It was kind of cool because earlier, like, we were taught to be pretty scared of just a single Gnosis, and then there was a giant, like, field full of them, and it was a really cool scene. I think it stuck out to me as the coolest scene in the game so far. So we're now currently inside a giant Gnosis ship. It's probably been eaten by one, and it looks like it's eaten like a shopping mall or a plaza or something. I think even last time we were playing this, I wasn't entirely clear on where to go next, so it might take me a bit to get my bearings, but we'll at least get into some battles along the way and gain some more experience so that the game isn't so rough later on. See you, Raker. Catch you next time. The story so far, as I recall it, though, is that there are these Gnosis things. They're attracted to something called the monolith. It kind of looks like the monolith from 2001: A Space Odyssey. And we have this super fighting robot lady called Cosmos. She's on the right there, with the blue hair. She gotta have blue hair. And she's designed to fight the Gnosis. She has some kind of magical ability, or scientific ability, excuse me, that makes it so that they're corporeal, because normally they're in this like ethereal state, where they can't be harmed by traditional weapons, but just her existence with the party lets us fight. We made so much progress, too. Cappy had like a 9-hour stream built up that we played through. I was really far ahead of this game. Curious how many hit points these guys have. Fat guys seem to have a lot. Should probably use Cosmos to heal on our next turn. This game is definitely better appreciated, I think, in very long bursts, since it's a very story-heavy game. One of the most story-heavy RPGs I've ever played. Like, we've had cutscenes that are practically a movie. Hey, Cappy. Next year in the New Jerusalem, right? You'll get another anniversary stream in June or July. And each time it gets played, it gets a little cheaper to vote for it. I'll change the vote cost later tonight. This game is on the voting spreadsheet. The bonus stream hours for anniversaries have been a really popular system. I don't think I can top it with like t-shirts or something, so I think I'll keep that around until it becomes untenable, but right now I can totally manage it. That's insane, people. Wow. It almost feels like a movie in a lot of ways, and I've definitely played Japanese games before that are like that I really enjoy. Like, I think if you skip all the cutscenes in any Metal Gear Solid game, it's probably about an hour and a half. If you kind of know what you're doing. Not speedrunning it, just kind of playing through it at a casual pace. If you watch all the cutscenes, it's more like a 40-plus hour game. Really? That's cool, Yukiko. So I didn't feel too hot about them putting out movie companions for Final Fantasy 15, but this game it makes a lot more sense. It's already basically a movie. It's pretty good hard sci-fi. There's a few like pseudo-mystical components, but it's less mystical than Xenogears or Xenoblade Chronicles 1. I think Xenoblade Chronicles X is more hard sci-fi, but I only played it for 2 hours, so can't say that for sure. I kinda wanna go get my resources back. Well, I can heal pretty cheaply. Maybe I should go ahead and heal outside of combat and explore more rather than go back to the save point. Medica all. Depends how many times I have to cast it. I wouldn't cast it on Chaos at all. Yeah, I think I got a small amount of savings out of that. I'm a big fan of hard science fiction. It's part of why I like Mass Effect so much. This is a very different take than I'm used to. It's a cool universe. It has a really cool head for cinematography. There's been some awesome scenes like the one I mentioned about porting into the giant field full of Gnosis. I wish it had some more modern day game design things, like being able to save easily, being able to like even pause in the middle of cutscenes. Like, if you play a game like Final Fantasy XIV as an MMO, they'll occasionally do the hour-plus long cutscene thing, and the game will literally warn you, like, hey, there's an hour-long cutscene coming up. You might want to save your game. Yeah, totally agree. The way I describe magic in Game of Thrones is a low magic setting. There's two things that make magic work there. One is that magic always has a cost. You can never just do it for free. Like, you don't have a wand that shoots fireballs. If you want to do something magical, you have to sacrifice something, which is cool. I also like that in Song of Ice and Fire universe, magic doesn't really do what you expect that it's going to do, and it almost never solves problems. It almost always makes things worse. So it makes the story more interesting. Nobody has a spell that fixes things. They make things more complicated for all the characters. That's a good way to do low magic. I don't think everything has to do that. I really do enjoy high fantasy. And you've got a spectrum of high fantasy, right? You've got, like, you know, magic is so commonplace that people use fire spells to cook their food and everything's running on magic tech trains and shit like that. That can be fun sometimes. But it's a cool spectrum. I think in a universe like Song of Ice and Fire, it's okay for magic to not have hard rules that you can count on, because it's like the fact that it's mysterious and doesn't do what you expect it to do is so important to the story. But that just means that they have to be careful to use it sparingly, which I think George R.R. Martin does. But if you're doing something like Harry Potter, you know, or the Kingkiller Chronicles, it's really important that your magic is explained early and you don't like doing OBT dubs in this really like OBT dubs guys, like we can time travel now with magic. Those can be really distressing, I think, and break your immersion when something decide to change the rules of the 11th hour. Game audio is lagging behind the video. That's weird. I can try to test it real quick. I can always reinitialize my... So much OBT dubs in Harry Potter. So you should hear a sound effect right when I hit pause. Should be happening at the same time you see the word pause on the screen. It is? Okay. Give me 1 second, guys. I'll try to reinitialize the dude here. I don't know why, but my capture card has been giving me trouble lately. Got to... Okay, let me know if that fixed it here with the pause menu. Sound should come through as I'm hitting pause. Because the Japanese really like German. There's two things they like, and it's English and German. And Norse mythology. Cool. Thank you for reporting on that. I wouldn't have caught it otherwise. You can't preemptive strike enemies in this game if you walk up behind them, right?
May you be reborn again anew.
Take this! I think they really liked... So this game's clearly super inspired by... 2001: Space Odyssey with the whole monolith thing. Also Spot Zero plus the weapon inside. Should be corrected now.
Yeah. Ready? Lunar seal.
When I reinitialize it, I basically have to delete it and replace it, so the audio settings were lost. Thanks. Try to remember that next time if we have audio wonk in the future. Fortunately, OBS Studio doesn't crash when I change the capture card settings. Like, I don't know if you guys remember, but way back in the day, if I had issues with the capture card, there's a really good chance the stream would go down. I was actually delaying OBS Studio's conversion for the longest time because it didn't have cat cam. Cat cam had become such a critical component. Ben's sitting outside of range. Marty's sitting on the couch.
All systems clear.
Tell him, Cosmos. She's a pretty scary fighting robot, man. She wrecks shit. I think I came out this direction last stream, and I got kind of lost. I don't know if I went this way though. I had to turn around about halfway through this area to save, because we were at the end of time. Not like, you know, in the Chrono Trigger sense, if we ran out of time for the game. Hey, we went the right way.
We've arrived at the center.
Oh, that'd be pretty awesome, people. Do that for TwitchCon.
What is that?
A building?
This guy's name is Chaos with a fucking lowercase
Some
c.
sort of device?
Because video games, because Japan. T.S.
What do
Eliot,
you
he
mean?
insists. He knows if you
I don't know.
don't
It's
use
just-
the uppercase.
Yes.
Well, if this is really the center, it's possible that it may be of some importance to the Gnosis.
It looks like
But
the
this, of course, is from our
monoliths,
frame
kinda.
of reference, so we could be completely mistaken.
In other words, if that is a man-made object, it could be a ship or some other wreckage that was swallowed just as we were.
What about us? Are we gonna end up like that too?
We'll be sure to get out of here before that happens. Cosmos, what's
I
the
really
Elsa's
thought
current
Shion
position?
had the same voice actress as
Location
Yuna,
unknown.
but it's
I
not
have
the
lost
same
its
person.
Lost?
The Gnosis magnetic and gravitational fields have become
Just shut them
unstable
all.
near the center. The last known coordinates point to a location on the lower level, 300 meters below our present position.
That's pretty close. Shall we go?
Yes. Let's just hope the Elsa isn't in the same condition as the wreckage around here.
I feel like Ziggy is like exactly what Barkley Shut Up and Jam was parodying. It's a parody of JRPGs. You have a character in your party whose name is Ziggurat 8. X113 Jam 9. Everything's his fault. Poor Alan.
Preparations for the Zohar Link experiment are complete. We'll begin phase 1 in 60 minutes.
Good.
Hi.
Commander, why was I assigned to this mission?
I wanted to test your loyalty to the organization. Nothing more. The citizens will be affected, whether you succeed or not. Do you regret your decision?
No. They're of no consequence to me, nor to our organization, or anyone else.
Well said, Cherenkov.
Interesting. This game is all about that ancient b-ball magic. Have there been any updates on Shut Up and Jam 2? I haven't really heard anything about the game. I saw it at PAX a couple years ago. It looks amazing. I know that they're being really careful not to include copyright infringing content this time. If you're a fan of JRPGs and you've played a lot of them, there's really two games you have to play: Undertale and Barkley Shut Up and Jam Gaiden, Chapter 1 of the Hoops Barkley Saga. It's pretty hilarious. We did it on stream for Little D Pieces Subblock. People. Is the story finished? I know that they didn't get to make... They wanted to do like 6 episodes and they had to cut it off at 3, right? So did they like wrap everything up in the 3rd one, or is there a bunch of stuff that's outstanding? Might be on PSN for the PS3. I have a disc. I actually... This is one of those surprising Subblock games where I just happen to already own the game without having played it. It's finished.
Okay, here we go.
It's this awesome part in Shut Up and Jam where the game, you have to go like... NPC gives you a quest, and it forces you to go to the monster hunt board to like accept the quest, and then you have to take the quest back to the NPC who told you to go to the board. So why did I have to do this? It's the most RPG thing ever. Drinking juice concentrate, and they cut a bunch out too. Gotcha. Because they had to wrap up the story really quickly. I probably asked this in Cappy's 9-hour session, but I don't remember. Is there, use my words here. Is there any save file transfer between these games? Are all 3 of them on PS2, or did they put any of them on PS3? Imagine this game wasn't that early in the PS2 life cycle. Although they did continue making PS2 games for a long while after the PS3 was a thing. Yeah, and it looks like they've moved away now from trying to make multi-episode stories. Like Monolith did that with Xenogears, was supposed to be multi-episode. Xenosaga was supposed to be multi-episode, and they get to Xenoblade Chronicles, they're like, let's just do standalone shit. Although Xenoblade Chronicles 1 ends with a pretty big cliffhanger. Save file transfer, superficial, unlocking outfits. That's too bad. I think this game would have been a really good candidate for transferring stuff over, right? I feel like that's almost more important in a like heavily flavored story-based game like this compared to one that's much more mechanically oriented, like Shin Megami Tensei Digital Devil Saga. Oh, they all had different systems? Interesting.
Okay, let's go on.
I guess I've played heavily story-based games that have had major system changes between titles. Mass Effect.
Target locked on. Commencing combat mode.
I need to heal. I gotta be really careful in this game. It's easy to, like, get in the groove of combat and not notice that one of your characters is Marstead. Too selfish. I've gotten really spoiled by games that will do something like make your health flash red or put something in your peripheral vision that calls your attention to it. It's something that I don't think is necessary for games to have, but there's so many little polish elements like that in modern games that it can be easy to miss them.
Charging.
Difference in poser. Really? Yeah, Mitsuda's awesome. It's a bummer. This soundtrack's so much less bass heavy than I'm used to from Mitsuda. Ow. Dude's a dick. certain attacks do different damage to different types of enemies, right? I should review.
Arcannon.
Maybe, they're bringing Mitsuda back for the new Xenoblade Chronicles game for the Switch, aren't they? Right, you don't know how close to full you are? Yeah. No, that's frustrating. That one's actively frustrating. It's not. It's beyond the point of it just being a quality of life thing, right? I think Momo can heal outside of combat. Since we're not really using her in battle. We can dump her MP first. That's pretty exciting. One hit lightning, beam, lightning. Excuse me. Drill. Right, we were leveling all of these up quite a bit. Use tech points. I think we wanted to use the cannon the most. Gotcha. I really like the stat customization system in this game. It's pretty robust. Lunar Seal. Okay. Spell Ray? Yeah, Spell Ray we were working on. Cool. We had a window there where battle was really difficult because I hadn't been leveling up my abilities appropriately. It's got better at some point. What's with the pirate statue holding the chest? It's goofy.
All battle systems are go.
That's a lot of dudes. Now, I don't think I've ever had an AoE yet. That acts in a line.
Ready? Lunar Seal!
I'm trying to figure out if I can make that happen. I don't know if there's any like significance to the fact that they're lined up like that. Are there abilities that are AoE that don't just hit all the enemies, that like might hit them in a line or a row or something like that? Anyone happens to know? These guys are pretty pretty deserving of this sound effects. We established that the mechs are basically worthless in this game, right? So I keep looking at the AGWS eggs or whatever command in combat. Did they make them useful in episode 2 and 3, or are they just bad in this one? Do they like break permanently or something, or they don't do enough damage? We had that cool kid, the kid who like shoots the coin out of the air. I think he always plays in a mech, and he's got like an NPC ally that plays in a mech. That's most of my interaction with them, though, so far. Am I a crazy person? Oh, I pressed confirm. Roger, roger. They're too slow to be useful? I see. Meaning they don't get to act frequently enough? I forget if this game has the equivalent of tense or not. That's a biosphere, yeah. So I don't need to use it yet. I might try to fight some of the enemies out in the general vicinity here. And then use it. Assuming that's not a boss fight save point. Locks on the elevator, presumably. Screw you, vending machine. Disable the safety devices on each floor. Oh, that's how it works. Do they repair after the battle? But once they die during that battle, they're then useless to you for the rest of that combat, I guess. Is that right? Cubicles. This is the environmental thing, is your best shot at.
On. Commencing combat mode.
I think Ziggurat 8 has a AoE ability in his combos, but it would take too long to level up if you weren't using it. And it doesn't do a lot of damage. So you can repair them after battle.
Lunar seal.
But the player becomes completely useless if they go down. Yeah, I feel like... I mean, there is... They do want to avoid... There's a problem with Final Fantasy X, right? It's super trivial to summon Aeon, so there's nothing stopping you other than fear of cheese from summoning Aeons in every single battle in that game and trivializing a lot of the content. In fact, there are some boss fights that are built around the assumption that you're doing that, like Lunaleska and Seymour. So finding some way that lets you summon them frequently without letting you summon them constantly, without having that as the drawback that if they die they're dead, seems a little too aggressive. Maybe make it an expensive, rare, like elixir level item to be able to pick them up in combat if they die in their mechs. Give you something to do it.
Who would have thought one of Miyuki's inventions would come in handy?
So mean to Miyuki, man. Jeez, Shion. Post mean shit about her on Facebook, why don't you? Oh, come on, dude. Alright.
Your orders, Xion?
No, I like summoning Aeons. It's fun. I think there should be some cost to doing it, though, right? Otherwise, you run into a problem where you ask the question, like, why do all these other characters and abilities exist if Aeons are the correct way to play? And then you get into the Final Fantasy X endgame, which suddenly Aeons are the most useless thing you can do, with a couple exceptions. And it can be pretty jarring if you play the game that way the rest of the time. Yeah. Infamous laugh scene. Yeah, that would be a cool way to do it, Yukiko, where it's just a mechanic, like a flavor separation. If you're fighting in a mech, it's because that's a mech battle. And if you're fighting not in a mech, it's not a mech battle. Xenoblade X has insurance for your mechs. Sounds like fucking Elite Dangerous. If I could change one thing about this game's battle system, it would be to split up attack turns since you're doing these combos. Like, I'd like to be able to then specify a different target for her second attack here. Yeah, thanks for the follow, you know. What is he doing when he does that first attack, I wonder?
dimensions would come in handy.
There's just these Gnosis in the cubicles. Like, they're just working, you know, paying the bills, grinding, keeping it 100 on these streets. Nasty multi-tentacled penis monsters from space. There's a button. Press it. Always press buttons. Blue collar Gnosis. Right. I'd like to talk to the penis monster that works in HR, please. You know, human resources doesn't really serve the employee, it serves the company. That's what every penis monster says.
Cosmos, activate Hilbert effect.
Hilbert effect is the thing that lets us damage the Gnosis. I was about to say these dinosaur dudes are like the least penis-looking monsters we fought, but they do got a little Johnson down there. Good for them. Don't I have access to an ability that lets me see enemy health? Let me see where I can determine that here. Thought I did.
Charging. Our cannon.
Blue strike. Right.
Ready? Lunar seal!
Did we say one of the runes on his lunar seal says ketchup?
Come on, everyone, we still have a long ways to go.
You tell him, lowercase c, chaos. Don't let anyone tell you what to do. Tell people how to pronounce your name, though. I heard the hateful uppercase C. Catch-up power is pretty good, man. Yeah, right. Oh yeah? Yeah, it is very distressing when they change voice actors. Apparently the voice actor for one of the characters in Persona 4 changed from the vanilla version to the golden version that we've done on stream for a few hours. And it's really weird for people who have played the original game. Hey, I had a number 9 decoder. That's exciting. I feel like, and I don't know why, but it's more noticeable, it's more striking with voice actors than I think it is with normal actors. Like, Dumbledore's actor change, I can look past a little bit better. Oh, did they censor gore in this one? Interesting. It's not terribly surprising. This game seems like it would be pretty gory with the way the cutscenes, especially stuff with Cosmos wrecking shit, and all the flashbacks with her. Excuse me. I think you played this game enough that you could play it in Japanese and still follow what's going on and know the prompts.
Here we go.
I still have a plan to do a Marstead learns Japanese video games thing with the Famicom I picked up in Japan, but ongoing research of how that would work. And need to have real life shit calm down for a minute to get the free time to work on it. The main character is a woman, yes, Xian. As is Cosmos is like an android, super space murder robot. That's goofy, people. This must be right towards the end of that, like, outside of, anime hypersexualization, creepy, pervy shit, like, Fire Emblem. I feel like there's pretty minimal Japan to US censorship these days, at least compared to, like, the old Nintendo Code days where they were removing crosses from buildings. Although, interestingly, complained about that a lot, but in reading the Legends of Localization Earthbound book, he points out that that's something that the Red Cross specifically requests people to do, that they don't like the use of the Red Cross to mean healing item in any video game, Japanese or otherwise, because they want it to be like an emergency symbol that means this is a safe place. And they ask all developers to do that. It wasn't just a weird, like, oh, Nintendo's being hypersensitive about religion in their Super Nintendo games. It's actually something on the Red Cross is in. There's a really cool bit in that book where Tomato, the author, Clyde Mandolin, talks about how when he first started doing localization stuff, he always had that, like, annoyed nerd attitude of, like, why do they always censor my games? Do they think we're babies or something? And then he's like, but the more I look into it, the more I realize, no, there are good business reasons for a lot of these censorship decisions. Cool. I think I've only played... I think I've started Xenogears like 3 or 4 times. I've heard it's really good. The soundtrack is pretty awesome. It felt really unpolished. It's probably one of the most unpolished Square games I've ever played. And it was enough that it kept me from getting hooked on it. I'm sure we'll give it another chance. It definitely seems like the sort of game someone will champion and get on the voting spreadsheet at some point for us to play. Yeah, let's do it. Interesting. Square didn't want to bring over Xenogears because of the religious stuff. Yeah. I feel like people care a lot less about that now. You're not getting a, 80s, 90s satanic panic kind of response to it anymore, at least.
Please stand down. I don't want meaningless bloodshed.
The Xeno series are in... they're made by the same developer. And they have some themes in common, but as far as we can tell, they're not in the same universe. The 3 episodes of Xenosaga are... It's like a spiritual successor. Well, it's different corporations, but the same team, right? Like, the people who are now Monolith Soft were working for Square and then split off. And then things didn't go super well with the Xenosaga games, so then they got bought by Nintendo, and that's how we got Xenoblade Chronicles. Sounds like they've been doing okay since joining Nintendo. Apparently they helped in some way with Breath of the Wild. Here's Boost. Namco picked them up, and then they went from Namco to Nintendo. Gotcha. How do I see the correct button for boosting? I thought it was a color, but both Cosmos and Xian have the same color right now. Yeah, we did it for 9 hours, and I finally had a handle on it. So now, like a month or two has passed, and I already forgot. Before we play this next time, I'll have to like write down a bunch of notes about the combat system in this game. I remember. It's a cool system. It lets you interact with the like effect wheel at the bottom of the screen. Damned if I remember how most of it works. Ow. Dick. I don't know what he's doing with that arrow attack. Very possibly it's the same person. There's a lot of common talent across these anime-style JRPGs. And just in voice acting in general. This guy does not take a lot of damage for most of my attacks. Hey Calic, how's it going? A crit definitely helps. Looks like near attacks are better a bit. Cherenkov? I think Spell Ray was actually still pretty decent damage. Yeah, we want to stick with Spell Ray.
Who would have thought one of Miyuki's inventions would come in handy?
This game's a bit more sci-fi than Skies of Arcadia. It's more like a Age of Exploration, magic setting, fantasy setting. Let's see. Sort. What the shit is a unicorn horn? Oh, we sell them. Okay. Oh, interesting. She doesn't seem, unless if maybe she's gaining levels out of combat, and the biosphere did heal her there. Yeah, quite a bit darker than Skies of Arcadia. Skies of Arcadia is pretty happy game on the whole. Got a pretty cool gun. Veil, what does that do? Ether effects down 25%. That's the kind of debuff ability I will never use, but cool to know that it exists.
Poor lost souls, may you be reborn again anew.
Final Fantasy's always limited the ability name callouts. I feel like the catch-up ability is pretty similar to the Moons Give Me Strength stuff in Skies of Arcadia. Yeah, I was going a little crazy from that in Tales of Berseria. Darkstar put it on. The battle chatter, especially when you're expected to use the same move over and over. Droid efficiency at its best. The Searing Edge. Yeah, that's something you can disable yet. I feel like that's got to be something they're aware of. Is there a different sensibility for that in Japan? I mean, okay, so we played Knights of the Old Republic, which does battle chatter, but then like BioWare's like, it's a little bit much. Let's tone this down, and then you don't really get it as much in, you know, Coder 2. Well, not Coder 2, that's not BioWare. But like Mass Effect or Dragon Age, there's nowhere near as much. Then you play a game like Xenoblade Chronicles, where like it's chatty party members 3D.
Charging.
It was Cherenkov you were talking about, Leon?
The enemies have been exterminated.
Yeah, I don't know why you'd want it to have it be maxed out, but like having some kind of slider for frequency of combat chatter would be nice. Sometimes it can be kind of cool. Like I think Final Fantasy X was perfect with combat chatter. It only happened under very specific conditions, like when you were dealing the finishing blow, and it's selected from a ton of different possible voice lines. This is a cool camera angle. This game has really good cinematography, even in the active gameplay sequences. It's Rhine time. Yeah, I'm really feeling it. Finally, it's the long elevator. Building that dread on the way down here. Yeah, because like you can have something like Searing Edge might be just a couple syllables. I guess it's only 3 syllables in English, but it'll always be fewer syllables in Japanese. You can pack a lot more information. And people complain about Mass Effect. I thought the I'm really feeling it. Hey, this says Zohar. That's the name of the monolith. Not Ben Stiller.
Shion, look at that.
Pretty badass door.
The Zohar?
We must go.
Hey, Cosmos, wait!
Definitely when
Don't you
written
go off on
spiky,
your
yeah.
own? Oh,
Hence all the issues
I
with
don't
fixed
recall
with fonts.
programming her that way.
I like the new Mass Effect, Cappy. We played it for 7 hours. It
But
has
what's
some
the Zohar
issues, but
doing here?
nothing that's
I
very
have
critical.
confirmed that
The worst
this
thing is the way
object can be
saving works in
identified
priority
with a
missions.
99.99998% probability to be the Zohar emulator that was stored on board the Woglinde.
So it's not the real
An emulator? Are you saying a real
monolith.
one exists somewhere else?
Affirmative.
Affirmative? Cosmos, how do you know all
Alright,
this?
Kevin. It's the
I
new
never
Rick and
stored
Morty
any
episode.
type of information like that in your main databank.
You're the creator of that thing.
That's me.
And yet, you didn't even know about that?
Magic the Gathering shirt.
Commander Cherenkov, are you all right? Let's get out of here.
That makes sense, Becky. He's the dude that didn't tell us about his
Commander,
shitty, spooky Gnosis
your
times.
body's-
Escape? What are you talking about? You think you'll survive through something like this?
D-piece.
That's right. I was the one behind the disappearance of the planet Ariadne.
Wait, seriously? That's a big twist.
All that mattered was the recovery of the
It's so
emulator.
hard to understand.
That was the reason behind the deployment of Vector and the military.
Interesting.
They were really only pawns. But in spite of all that,
But he is in both of them, Leon. We've got about another 10 minutes here for Xenosaga before we switch to our last subblock game today, which is Valiant Hearts. So we'll see if we get to a save point by then. This game can be rough with save points, boss
go
fights,
away.
cutscenes.
don't come near me! You were the ones who rejected me! So why are you bothering me now? No!
What is that?
It's a boss fight.
Photon.
Dead Space isn't too far from the
and
situation we're
graviton
in.
Scans read negative.
Then, what is it that we're seeing?
Some religious imagery there, I feel like. I haven't seen Ghost in the Shell, but I've heard it's really good, Leon. Like, it's not... I've had people tell me I don't like anime, but...
No!
Didn't it pretty heavily inspire The Matrix?
It's a gnosis.
I don't know, I just woke up like a week ago. Cool. Yeah, it's a pretty clear
Just like that day.
2001 reference. The opening cutscene talks about it a lot too. So I don't think we're going to be able to finish this boss fight in time, but we can pick up from this save right before the boss next Xenosaga session. I'll go ahead and attempt it for the remaining 9 minutes and see how far we get. I don't want to cut too far into the next subblock though, since we're already running a little late tonight.
Disabling auto safety. Destroy all targets.
Odagog. Now that is a penis monster.
Take this! Now right!
Yeah, right. Fortunately, this save we hit's not too far back from here, so I won't lose a ton of progress. I can try to skip things. Yeah, I know, right? I love boss music, and I love Yasunori Mitsuda's boss music. One of my favorite composers.
Charging.
Poor guy.
Our cannon.
I've told this story before, but he goes to Squaresoft. He's like a low-level sound engineer. They're making Chrono Trigger at the time, and he gets really brave, and he's like, I demand that you give me a higher paying job as an actual composer on a game. I'm like, alright, do this Chrono Trigger game we're working on with Enix. He's like, what, really? Okay. And then he works himself so hard, he gets himself stomach ulcers. And they have to bring on Uematsu, the Final Fantasy composer, to help him finish the soundtrack. And he's been in a ton of games ever since then. A very popular composer.
Open ether circuit!
I love that song, people. If you love that song, it's all the more reason you should play Barkley Shut Up and Jam, people. So the story with that song is pretty cool, too. I talked about this a lot during Barkley. Uematsu, composer for Blue Dragon and the Final Fantasy series, is a huge fan of, like, 70s prog rock. So he's really into, like, Boston and Yes and Pink Floyd, Zeppelin. Deep Purple is the big one. The theme song Eternity from Blue Dragon features Ian Gillan, the lead singer of Deep Purple. If you look up a picture of Uematsu, just imagining Uematsu getting his dream to meet this guy and get him to sing in one of his video game songs. Like, the lyrics are so fundamentally stupid and silly, very Englishy. I haven't watched the anime, just the video game. It's a good game. It's basically Hironobu Sakaguchi makes a Dragon Quest game with some Final Fantasy sensibilities, like a job system, and with Uematsu as the composer. Hey Chaos, how's it going? I know, right? He sounds like he does not phone it in, Kevin. Yeah, even though he's like singing this weird song with these goofy Englishy lyrics for this little Japanese guy with his cute little mustache, he like gave it his all. What a delightful song. I think that one of my favorite boss themes, at least among boss themes that have lyrics. Some Dragon Quest games do the job system as well. I guess I haven't played enough Dragon Quest. comes up eventually in Dragon Quest VII, doesn't it? I don't know if I ever got far enough to unlock it. So Dragon Quest is like the original Enix teams. The important creative force behind it is Akira Toriyama, the artist. But Sakaguchi, the creator of Final Fantasy, is the main guy behind Blue Dragon. He just got Toriyama, he calls Toriyama Sensei to help him with it. They had worked together previously on Chrono Trigger, which was also Toriyama. But I bought all those revives.
I'm not done yet.
3, 6, and 9 did? Interesting. Silence my middle character. Ow. I'm gonna try to have Cosmos do another heal here. Since she has better stats apparently and is our best healer. Try to boost Cosmos to act again here if I can. It'll let me. That's the ticket. Try to kill the ads.
Charging.
I think I set up this party last session with the goal of having a lot of characters that could do a party heal. Oh, powered up after losing Servant. I didn't notice that the first time. Let me make a Xenosaga note. Actually, I'm just gonna put it in the title, so when I save the split, the timer, powered up after losing Servant. Then I'll correct it when we play it next time. Be like, what the shit is that? yeah. Let's put that in the title there in the corner. Okay. Yikes. Maybe we don't. So yeah, okay. Even though we'll have to watch some of those cutscenes again next session and start this boss over, we at least learned something useful for the next attempt. Spell Ray is still pretty good damage, though. Here comes that ketchup move. So the rune on the right side, it looks like it says ketchup backwards. Ketchup, mayonnaise, salt, pepper. Condiment seal. Thought Xion was dead there. He's silenced, but he could use a med kit. I did buy a fucking shit ton of these, didn't I? I must have just had a ton of money, or maybe it dropped from mobs or something. Which one? Link to the Present?
Charging.
Sorcerer. Plum. Ow. I think that cross-classing Medica all to Cosmos is going to be how I'm going to have any chance of winning this fight at all. Especially with how much the boss likes to focus down Xion.
Here.
I am hyped for the Twin Peaks reboot. It sounded like it wasn't going to happen for a while there, but they salvaged it at the last minute. What needs from the Twin Peaks? Sounds like they got just about everybody to come back too. Oh, you should guess. It's so weird. I think it's still on Netflix. Something you can knock out in a couple weekends. Yeah, I really can't think of anything that's like Twin Peaks. There's a lot of things that are inspired by Twin Peaks, but it's super unique. And then Xion died. That puts us at time for Xenosaga. It will return. This game is on the voting spreadsheet. If someone wants to look up the command and share it. The cost to vote for it is going to go down since we played it for an hour today. but we'll retroactively update the vote totals, so you can vote for it with confidence now. The idea is that the longer we play it on Subblock, the less time you're actually going to get when you watch it on stream. So since the vote cost scales with the length of the game, it makes sense to discount it as we progress. I'll be back in a few minutes with the last Subblock game for today, which is Valiant Hearts: The Great War. We'll see you soon.